Before we cover some specifically occultic stuff regarding 9/11 in future videos, I want to deal with the issue, first of all, of what some people call predictive programming or foreshadowing or predictions of 9/11 in various ways. Some of this stuff involves imagery, some involves numbers, that kind of thing. This is something that I think it's important to have a kind of a basic working knowledge of what the main ideas are behind this, or what the main ideas are today in terms of what this is, why it exists, before we actually look at it, so that when you look at the evidence, you'll know what you're looking at. So, uh, this is something that really, I'm not an expert in it, and nobody is. If you're not actually part of the occult, one of the very high-ranking people who pulled this stuff off, you're just an outsider looking in, and we're just trying to piece this stuff together. So all of this is just a matter of speculation, whether you get it from Mark Passio, Alex Jones, me, whoever, doesn't matter. We're all just kind of guessing because we're not the ones who actually did this. But anyway, here's what I think are the best guesses for why we see things like this. Now, when I say things like this, what I mean is, let's see, we'll try to find you a really nice example here. Something like the Illuminati card game. Now, this came out in the 1990s, and you'll see right here in the center, you've got two towers, being knocked down. You've got a pentagon that's flaming. Um, that's or what about this? From The Simpsons, 9/11. This one's pretty famous right here. Um, Here's a really freaky one. You look at Supertramp. This is, I think it's a British band or something. I was never a fan of this band, but didn't mean to click that. Um, Here's their album cover, Breakfast in America. All right, yeah, that looks fine. No, nothing really obvious there. But look at this. When you flip it around, mirror image, you see a 9 and an 11 over the World Trade Center, looking through an airplane window. Now that is weird. All right. Um, Look at this from the movie Terminator or Terminator 2, I forget which. You've got a bridge, caution 9/11. Uh, there are quite a few cases where the time 9/11 showed up in some way or another uh, on a lot of watches, in movies and various things, magazine covers and so on, prior to 9/11, going back even decades. And this is really weird stuff. Um, so, what is the purpose of all this? Because some stuff like that Supertramp thing, that's not coincidence. Yeah, The Simpsons could be. I just throw that out there because it's a very common example, but that's actually not one of my favorites. But what does all this stuff mean? Okay, if we are operating under the assumption that the people who put this stuff into these movies, album covers, and whatever are actually the same people who pulled this off, then we need to try to figure out what it is that they're doing here. Um, let's look at this here. This is just numerology basics, a website from this is thoughtco.com, some sort of a new age website of some sort or another. Um, Many pagan rituals and traditions incorporate the practice of numerology. The basic principles of numerology hold that numbers have a great deal of spiritual and magical significance. Some numbers are more potent and powerful than others, and combinations of numbers can be developed for magical use. Um, so essentially, and you can find more stuff like this to back up this idea. Here's the basic idea. You're in the occult and you're doing rituals. Your rituals have a purpose. You're trying to achieve and accomplish something. As a means of working towards that end in your ritual, you can incorporate numbers into your ritual, which have intrinsic powers and values, and then those increase the likelihood of success for your ritual. So uh, maybe for some particular ritual, you think that the number 8 is significant, and so you incorporate the number 8 into it in every single way that you possibly can, thinking that that is going to give you a higher chance of success. I think basically that's most of what's going on here when we see this. That's my theory. Um, I think it's really, in most cases, I think it's nothing more than that. They're just trying to increase the chances of success for this ritual. Uh, so let's look at some cases though where that may not be that may not be the case. Let's see. No, it's not that. Um, yeah, here we go. The tarot cards. Okay. There are no numbers here, really, except the 6 on the bottom, but I'm not sure if that's significant. But uh, what would be the purpose of putting this out here ahead of time with no numbers? Maybe it's just the symbols also have a power. Occultists also believe that symbols have a power, and look at the fact that the Pentagon is basically a component of an inverted pentagram. Look at the fact that these two towers basically are an 11, something like that. But really, um, it could be that the symbols have power and they're trying to incorporate it because of that. But also, there's a theory that I kind of like, that this fairly popular. Uh, Here's one guy that thinks a lot of this, is Ole Damigard. Ole is he's not a Christian. He's kind of a New Age guy, but he's a very very kind, nice guy. And he seems like a very first rate guy, very nice fellow. He does a lot of conspiracy theory type stuff, and he's got a lot of very interesting ideas. And I think he's on track with a lot of things. He's a guy that's worth following. Very good guy. Um, his idea is that it's some sort of karma, and he's not alone in this. This is a fairly leading idea. I'm just kind of attributing it to him. He was the first one that came to mind, um, but it may not even be his idea. That it's some sort of a karma. That the idea is, yeah, they're going to kill all these people, but if they tell you what they're going to do before they do it, and then you get killed, it's your fault because you missed the signs. And so then the bad karma doesn't come back on them. Now, I'm not all that into this karma stuff, so I don't really know if that's a good way of looking at it or not, but I think that that's a possibility. So I'll throw that out there. Um, and then you have stuff like this. This is the back to the Danny Lewin picture again. Uh, maybe he was putting all these 11s on his watch because he wanted to increase the power of the ritual he was about to be a part of. Um, all right, yeah, that makes some sense. But why was the picture released 10 years later? This picture never hit the internet until 2011, September 11th, 2011. What's the reason for that? I think that there are a couple of reasons. One, in some cases, I think that the powers that be that pull these things off are just trying to rub our noses in it and basically tell us, yeah, we did this, and yeah, it's us, but who's going to believe you? You can tell whoever you want. Most people are not going to believe you. And even if they do believe you, we're untouchable. You can't get to us. We can do this stuff with impunity to you, and you can't do anything about it. And they're trying to rub our noses in that. That's what they think of us, what they do to us, and this is their way of rubbing our noses in it. The other possibility is this picture is attributed to Jason Grow in terms of copyright. He's a prominent photographer in the Boston area, apparently. Does a lot of really beautiful photographic work. He's a very gifted photographer, apparently. I was looking through some of his portfolio stuff last night. He's very good. Um, and, maybe uh, this was on his camera, on his computer, and he realized what it was after the fact, and without really saying anything at all, maybe he just kind of released this photo to the media. The media didn't notice what it was, and they put it out there. Like this picture's been on CNN, so. Uh, maybe this photo got released because somebody had a conscience, realized what was going on, and was trying to kind of discreetly expose it. I think that that's a possibility. I'd like to think that Jason Grow is that kind of guy, but I don't know anything at all about him. I know nothing at all whatsoever about him. But maybe he or somebody who had access to the photo, was thinking along those lines. I have no idea. So there can be multiple reasons why you see this kind of stuff. It's not all just strictly occultic magicry, but very often it is. Um, so so what do we do when we see things like you know like this or like the or like this, the bridge, or goodness gracious, the Supertramp thing. Yeah, this is not only just predictive 9/11 stuff. There are some elements to this that I'm going to cover in a later video in more depth. But there are some reasons why you should look at this picture and think, yeah, this is definitely occultic. Um, so the point of this video is um, just understanding that this kind of stuff is out there. That when they do something like this is a component of it. That there is some sort of foreshadowing, or maybe after the fact that they do something to kind of rub your nose in it or something. Um, this kind of stuff is not exactly the main course, but it is important in terms of tying together um, the events of 9/11 with the occult. So it was worth doing a video on to to try to explain what I think is going on when you see this kind of stuff and why they do it. Essentially, I think what they're trying to do is just more than anything else increase the power of the ritual. Sometimes it may be a way of avoiding bad karma. Sometimes it may be a way of maybe trying to expose what was done. Maybe it's done for some good reasons. We don't know. This is very deep, complex stuff. But anyway, if you've got any comments, please put them in the comments section below. And hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll follow up later with another one. Thank you.